suit, returned to the forest at Habsheim this afternoon to see for himself the devastation that was once one of the world's newest and most sophisticated aircraft. With him, co-pilot Pierre Mazière, still heavily bandaged, and members of the inquiry team. It had been a flight that seemed so routine. Captain Asselin and his co-pilot in the cockpit for a short trip over Mont Blanc with 130 passengers on board. But first, just 4 minutes after takeoff, the planned fly-past at the Habsheim air display. To begin with, the low-level pass with undercarriage down went smoothly. But then, the moment when the crowds realized something was seriously wrong. They could clearly hear the twin engines screaming as the captain desperately tried to gain height.
Oh la la.
Oh yeah. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
5 seconds after the final impact, the fuel tanks ruptured, and the forest became an inferno. Rescue teams on their way to the scene were amazed to find dazed survivors making their way clear of the burning wreckage. Many said they owed their lives to the automatic emergency chutes.
The chutes inflated normally, automatically, but they didn't come out straight because of the trees, more at a 30 or 40 degree angle. Many of us did, like me, get 2 yards down the chute, and then we fell to the ground.
My husband got stuck by a branch while on the chute, and I got stuck behind him, and the people jumped over us. Nobody said anything, only don't panic, get out, get out.
The flames were next to my wife. They licked the windows, and the same happened the other side. My wife took my hand, and we jumped.
Dawn today revealed just how lucky the survivors had been. A great swathe through the forest, and on the ground, the tail assembly and one wing, the only recognizable parts of an aircraft which entered service only last week. Through the wreckage moved the investigation teams, some from the Airbus makers, others from the French government. Central to their inquiries, the 2 flight recorders, which contained every detail of the Airbus's final moments. This afternoon, the magistrate leading the inquiry announced that preliminary evidence suggested that pilot error was to blame.
Airbus Industries have made a selling point of the A320's computerized cockpit. The pilot has a side stick which passes his commands to a computer, normally under the floor, but on this test flight in a rack. The computer in turn sends signals to the flaps and other control surfaces. If the pilot attempts a maneuver outside the safety envelope, for example too steep a climb, an alarm sounds.
So you may feel some pressure there.
The computer takes over and flies the plane out of danger. It's now clear that yesterday the pilot had switched off the computer overrides. Ever since a test system was installed on an A300, Airbus has been keen to show off the innovation. Normally, pilots perform these maneuvers above 300 feet. We showed film of yesterday's crash to Harry Hopkins, a test pilot who's flown the A320.
Well, this demonstration flight seems to be taking place in quite an enclosed space. So the pilot is manoeuvring and then straightening up. He's at quite low level, and in fact the engines are spooled back until quite a late stage.
The flight recorder shows the pilot came in very low, at 30 feet, and with the computer switched off. It takes at least 7 seconds for engines to reach full power. If, at this point, the pilot opened the throttles, he wouldn't be climbing hard before he hit the trees. Even with the computer switched on, experts say it wouldn't have saved the low-flying plane ploughing into the trees.